Welcome to another edition of the Gridiron Report. I'm Jarret Johnson. I'm joined by the mighty Joe Yeager. Well, mighty Joe, Texas Tech is on a 3-game winning streak. Don't look at them now, but huge test. And the Red Raiders go to Arizona. They play a night game, and I mean night.
It's morning and night.
Right. It's Dracula hour. 10 p.m. Central Time. They'll play in Tucson, and Arizona's coming up a huge win on the road at Utah. And so really one thing that's been hammered home, we know this every year, but there is one way you gain respect in college football: beating a quality team on the road. And that's the opportunity ahead of Texas Tech this weekend.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, under McGuire so far, Tech has not been all that good on the road.
Yeah.
And you probably have the numbers on the top of your head, but I don't know what they are, but they're not good.
Yeah.
And look, for the program to take that next step forward to advance to the higher level, they simply have to start winning road games.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't win road games, then you're just looking at hovering around 500 all the time, and that's just not going to really feed the bulldog for too long. So they got to take that next step, and here's a great opportunity to do it. Against a good team. I don't think Arizona's great, but they're good, and it's on the road. I'd say they're the same caliber really as Cincinnati and Arizona State. Same quality, and you beat both of those guys, but here in Lubbock. So you got to do something similar, but this time on the road. It'll be a challenge, and we will see if this program is ready to maybe advance to the next level.
Let's take a step back real quick, and I want to acknowledge what Texas Tech has accomplished. It has been at home, but they got off to that shaky 1-1 start. You barely beat ACU, but you win. But we're all kind of like, whoa, what is this? And then you go to Washington State, no Taj, don't get me wrong, and you get beat. You get handled. And Washington State wasn't expected to be that good. I think they're fine, but they're not they're not Georgia, I think, as you so aptly put. But since coming back home, you throttle North Texas, as you should, and not a terrible North Texas team by their standard either. You beat a then undefeated Arizona State team at their own game, running the ball and stopping the run, and then you outlast Cincinnati after facing a 14-3 deficit. And I think here's what's become apparent to me, my Joe, is that Texas Tech has a better idea, the coaching staff, the players, of who they are. They have a formula for victory. And I think going in, and this is the case for not just Joey McGuire and Texas Tech, but every team. You have to have an identity and know who you are. Like, it helps if your program is like, say, Alabama, who for so long was like smash mouth football, and then we have 3 deep defensive linemen and linebackers, and we're just going to out-athlete you and all, or Kansas State defense, that kind of thing. You get what I'm saying. Texas Tech's formula, in my mind, and I think they know this, establish Taj on offense. With Barron and a pretty dang salty receiving core, take advantage off play action and RPO after defenses say, hey, we got to give up basically everybody to stop Taj because we can't stop this guy. Tip of the cap to the offensive line for at least playing better this year. They're better this year. I don't think you could deny that. And then on defense, it's clearly, and even if they don't admit it, a bend but don't break. Hope they come up with turnovers, or at least hope you hold them to field goals, while these defenses have a very difficult time stopping our offense. To me, that's Texas Tech's formula. What do you think about that?
Yeah, spot on. The only thing that I would add to that is factor in winning on special teams.
Big time. And that was a huge omission. Good point. Yes.
Well, and that's, they've just been killing it. You mentioned Kansas State. They're playing special teams similar to the level that K-State has played it under Bill Snyder, and then with, I forget what's his name, Kleiman up there right now. They're doing it at all phases on special teams. Return game, perfect on field goals, 11-11 for the season. Burgess, as a punter, isn't getting that many opportunities.
Yeah.
When he gets the chances, he's looking like a master at nailing them down inside the 10-yard line, coffin corner, pooch, whatever. Blocked an extra point, recovered an onside kick. I think Tech is 1-1 on onsides themselves, recovering an onside kick. So they're just basically doing everything right on special teams to factor that into the identity as well. And if you can sort of impose and execute that formula game in and game out, then you've got a shot at being competitive with anybody on your schedule, past, present, future.
Yeah, and it's clear to me that on offense, they're elite at the skill position. And Joe McGuire said that, and he says that about almost every part of his program. We got the best scouting department in the country. We got the best, and I don't blame him for doing that. I'm just saying, at some point, you're like, there's no way that Tech has the best of all of this in the country. Now, I'm not saying they have the best skill position collection of skill position in the country, but they are really good, especially with Baron Morton playing so efficiently. He's playing really well. It all starts with Taj, but it's clear to me the offensive line's better, the receiving core is much better. Baron's playing at a high level, and Taj is one of the best in the country, if not the best all-around running back in the country. On defense, though, pass rush has never materialized. While Ben Roberts is coming off a terrific game, and Rodriguez, was, let's say he at least came up with a lot of tackles. They're a little about a half a step slow at inside linebacker in coverage. Which hurts on the back end because they're not even close in the secondary. Whether it's youth, inability, injuries, whatever, and boy, they are banged up in a lot of places, outside linebacker and secondary. Whatever reason, the truth is right now, they're not even close in the secondary. So to me, this is the formula. And I think I want to tip the cap. I'm really glad you tipped the cap to special teams because that is a huge point. But also to being able to adapt. Tech has taken the foot off the gas in terms of the tempo. I mean, they still run it some, but not near as much. They are playing complementary football in that regard. And then McGuire swallowing his pride and saying, you know what? I believe in this analytical approach and being aggressive towards fourth down. I believe it can win people more games with that approach. But this is not working on this team this season, so I'm going to completely do a complete 180. How many coaches have you covered, no matter the sport, or just people you've dealt with? This is talking about on our message board, on social media, who there's no way, even if they know they're wrong, all the evidence has been laid out for them, they're unwilling to do that 180, especially in such a public forum where you have to basically admit, you know what, in this situation, I was wrong. The best thing to do would be the complete opposite of what I've been doing. And he's doing that, and I don't think they win at least all three of those games, maybe even the last two games, if you don't change that philosophy, Joe.
Yeah, I know. And, it's amazing how much of a motivator job security can be.
Yeah.
You lose too many games with game management, and you hover around 500 for too long. Suddenly the heat starts building on you. I mean, this is a big business, you know, and guys come and go, and sometimes they don't last all that long. And Joey McGuire is no exception. Everybody likes him. Everybody's cheering for him. Everybody wants the best for him. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to winning. And if you're not winning enough and some of your game management decisions or your overall strategy in that area is clearly contributing to the problems, then, man, you're in hot water all of a sudden. So, I think sort of necessity comes into this and say, hey, man, I either admit I was wrong and start doing some things differently, or I'm going to go down with the ship eventually. Yeah. So I think that's just a big part of it. But, some guys are so bullheaded. They're going to go down. They'll go
playing
down.
The violin, going down with the Titanic, exactly. Playing the same song,
There you go. I've never even seen that movie, but
the reference. Yeah.
So, that's the deal. So, absolutely credit for him. I think Tech has gone for it how many times this year? It's a small.
I don't have the numbers up there.
I think it maybe not even 9.
It was a lot against Washington State. Yeah. It was like 0 for 5 or at one point. I don't know what they finished.
The entire attempts for the season right there. Maybe they've gone 9 times or something, which is just, last year or times in the past, they go 9 times in one game.
Yeah, right.
So it's a world of difference right now, and I think it's a smarter approach.
Yeah, I'll say I'm not even sure if I agree with you if that's why. Maybe ultimately, of course, the guy wants to keep his job. I'm not saying you're wrong. If I had to guess, I think he just hates losing. I think he just looked at it and knowing him. We're not drinking buddies. I'm just saying, and having covered him, talked with him, so many conversations with him, and I wouldn't say this about everybody I've covered. I think he just wants to win. I think he really wants to win that badly, and he saw what he was doing was hurting his team. I really believe that. Now, you could argue that factors into wanting to keep his job too, But the fact remains he's not playing that violent going down with the Titanic, and I respect that. So many guys would. So transfer this to this week, Arizona. I mean, obviously, Fafita, a good quarterback. They have one of the, if not the best receiver as well out there. A lot of skill, a lot of athleticism then on defense to combat some of the things you want to do on offense. And then just Texas Tech's road woes playing at a weird time they're college kids, so I guess they're used to being up that early. But it is a weird time. It's on, like I said, it's on Fox, so everything just feels kind of different about this game.
Yeah, I know. But the one thing that I hope continues is that Tech continues to dominate the series.
Yeah,
because the Tech owns something like a 26-5-2 advantage in this series against Arizona. That's pretty incredible when you consider these are sort of like, you think of them as kind of peer programs.
Yeah,
in certain respects. But Tech has just dominated the series, and you hope that continues and that Tech keeps on winning and pushes this win streak to 4.
Last time they played out in Tucson, which was, I think it was the Wells era.
2019.
Yeah, Arizona dominated that game, and I think it kind of came as a surprise. The crowd was a factor, so I expect it to be loud and rowdy, and it's going to be a tough environment. And I think you got to stick to the formula. I don't think don't get too cute. Arizona's going to do some things in the passing game, but I could kind of see this being a high-scoring game. I mean, I think Texas Tech will be able to do some things offensively. No one has been able to stop Taj, except for his injury, against Washington State where he didn't play. So I think that's the formula. You stick with it, and I think Tech will be close. Now, whether they win or not, it's going to come down to a play here or there.
Maybe special teams.
And they're going to have to prove to me, though, I have to say, that Texas Tech can win on the road in an environment like that, because right now, that's very suspect. That's not up for debate. It's a thing, and it's a thing for not just Texas Tech, but a lot of programs,
Sure.
and certainly Texas Tech under Joey McGuire. But I can't wait to see what happens. If they win this game, then man, you start looking at it like, okay, you could beat a pretty good Arizona team in their place. How good can this team be in terms of having the formula, knowing who they are, and being able to go out there and execute?
Yeah, and you're 5-1, one game away from bowl eligibility with half of the season still to go.
And I believe 3 more home games, which you've been under McGuire. You've been very, very salty at home. So
to top the Big 12 standings at 3-0.
And 3-0 is nothing to sniff at. I mean, that's a big. Anybody would want that. So, all right, Mighty Joe, great stuff from you as always. Thank y'all for watching, and until next time.